issue a tornado warning that runs until 1 p.m. So Pulaski County, there's the Ohio River runs right here, and then also eastward. We're talking about back into Ballard County. There's Kentucky State Highway 118. We've also got, it looks like Sally Christ Road is going to be right there. So folks in Mound City, Golden Lily, I would even say southward towards, on State Route 37 towards Urbandale, you need to be heading to shelter immediately, all right? This is this has the potential to produce a tornado. So we have seen a new tornado warning that has been issued again for some of these areas. You see the red blinking box. And let's go ahead and put a storm track on this. This is moving extremely quickly. We've also got Storm Track 3 meteorologist Katie Melvin in studio with us this afternoon. Katie, do you happen to have a speed on this?
I am looking right now. I'm not seeing any reports either as far as the tornado warning goes. The speed of how quickly the warning is moving, we're looking at east at 50 miles per hour. So it is a very quickly moving storm. If you kind of think of what we were seeing yesterday when it was starting out, it was only 10 miles per hour, went up to 40. So this is even faster than those storms were moving yesterday. This is radar indicated rotation, not seeing any active reports right now, but still something we're going to continue to keep an eye on. And there's still some time with this. So radar indicated tornado, hail, also a possibility with this. So, of course, if you are in that area, kind of keep an eye on that. But this is currently what we're seeing across the area for that tornado warning for Pulaski County, a bit of a storm track on there. So it is quickly moving. So 1240 just about right now. It'll be in Law Center by 1249. We have Woodville at 1254. So continue to watch that and keep an eye on that. I'm still not seeing anything in the chat. We're not seeing any active reports or anything like that. So still radar indicated. But we will continue to keep an eye on it for at least right now. Control room, could I maybe get radar up for my pod here? But we are still continuing to watch this. Of course, if you're not seeing that active warning right now, it's still pouring, at least for some of us. We've got a lot of lightning with this as well. So it's just something that we're kind of watching. But Nick, I'll go ahead and send it right back over to you to kind of look at that storm track.
Yeah, so the storm track on this is going to, once again, it's really crossing, moving right through the Mound City area. Mound City, this is really right on top of you right now, crossing over the Ohio River. Now we're starting to get into areas that are a little more, say, swampy, right down here into the bottoms area, really popular waterfowl area. Ballard County WMBA is right through there. The Ballard County Memorial High School is going to be a little farther eastward. I believe that's on Highway 60, closer to Barlow and La Center. So we're talking about these are going to be the areas that are impacted this. Once again, some times that would be in the path of this. We're coming into the western side of Ballard County right now, okay? So, folks, if you live in this area, again, Barlow, we're talking about if you know that you're where the Ballard County Memorial High School is, we need to be seeking shelter. If you live near that, or if you even into the La Center area, you've got about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, I will say over the last couple of radar scans, maybe not quite as impressive as what it was just a couple of minutes ago. There it was. This is when the warning was issued right there. You can see right there and how bright it is. But then as we were tracking this, making its way just a little bit further eastward, as this was starting to cross over to the western side of Ballard County, we did see that we saw some weakening maybe. The last couple scans. Still some rotation there, so folks take this seriously, but it looks like right now the area of rotation is going to be very close to State Highway 118 is where we're going to be tracking this. I'm going to move this just a little bit further to the left so you can see that better. So there's the Ballard County WMA right here, and then we've got State Highway 118. So again, crossing over right at Mound City. And wouldn't be surprised the last couple radar scans, again, if we start to see some weakening as this transitions eastward and into parts of Kentucky. But this was pretty strong as it was moving through the Redmond Road area, Golden Lily, Mound City, and Urbandale. So almost right on top of Mound City again as we just take this down. The next scan is probably going to put this very close to Sally Christ Road there and State Highway 118 into Ballard County. So again, if you're hearing your road mentioned, and you're hearing your community mentioned, or you know some of the landmarks we're talking about, we need you to be seeking shelter, all right? That's what we want you to be doing. Again, finding an interior room on the bottom floor of your home. We want you to be heading to a bathroom, a closet, a hallway, an area away from windows. We also want you, if you have a two-story home, we want you to get out of the top floor and get down to that main level. We also would really prefer if you had a basement or if you have a storm shelter, now is going to be the time to head there. Once again, tornado warning that is in effect still for parts of Pulaski County in Illinois, though the threat now is really into Kentucky. This is really going to be into parts of Ballard County here. Again, the threat is right here, and that latest update does put it pretty close to Sally Christ Road as we speak. All right, let's go ahead, and I'm going to zoom back out just a little bit. We do have a couple of new severe thunderstorm warnings to pass along. This line of storms very strong. Now here as we make our way into the early afternoon, and kind of expected, but we'll have to keep an eye out. You know, the main threat right now is still strong straight line winds with this, but there is the potential, as you see with the tornado warning, that red blinking box, there is the potential for a brief spin-up tornado or two here, mainly over the next hour or two as this line of storms quickly moves east. But we do now have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is a little farther eastward for parts of southern Illinois and western Kentucky. The new severe thunderstorm warning is going to be for parts of Polk County until 1:45. We've also have parts of Johnson County included that. All of Massac County is now included in a new severe thunderstorm warning until 1:45. McCracken County, we're talking Graves County, Carlisle County, and other areas of Ballard County are also going to be included in this severe thunderstorm warning. Again, new severe thunderstorm warning. The main threat here is going to be very strong straight line winds with this line of storms as it continues to push eastward. Farther northward, again, just checking in with our folks in Carbondale and Marion. Some very heavy rainfall moving through Carbondale. We've got some very heavy rainfall getting ready to push into the Heron area, Carterville, Marion. But right now, these storms are quite a bit weaker. So we're talking about heavy rain, some thunder, some lightning. The severe weather threat is focused south of you. Harrisburg, we'll keep an eye on these storms as well for you guys. But right now, it does look like the strongest part of this line of storms will stay south of you. All right, I would even say Lake of Egypt, areas south of Lake of Egypt is generally where we're going to be focused. So again, the northern edge of some of these warnings is just right up to parts of Johnson and Johnson and Williamson County line, and then also the Pope and Saline County line. So this is going to stay south of Mitchellsville as well. So I believe we do have some power outages now being reported as a result of some of these storms moving through. About, it looks like 900 people is what is being reported in parts of southeast Missouri. So we are starting to see, that's from Cape Girardeau to Scott City. We do have some power outages that are now being reported in this as well. So again, just a line of storms that's making its way through. Going to also pinpoint a couple of other areas. Keeping an eye on some, there's some of those power outage maps that we're talking about. Keeping an eye on some of these other areas that there is potential here. We've got another little area of rotation we need to zoom in on. And if you can come on back to me here for just a second. One of our products that we use to try to pinpoint exactly where some of the rotation is, and this is one of those circles here that you see oftentimes here plotted on here at Storm Track 3. But Olmsted is just going to be, right now this is not a tornado-warned storm, but we do have some rotation here to keep an eye on. This is pretty close to Pulaski Road. There's Pulaski. This is east of Pulaski Road and over towards the Olmsted area and State Highway Route 37. This looks like this is going to push pretty close to New Grand Chain. And no warning on that, not as pronounced as the one that did cause the tornado warning to be issued a little further to the south. But this will be one to keep an eye on if you feel threatened with this from New Grand Chain southward towards the Ohio River. And I would even say southward into Kentucky at Monkey's Eyebrow. Consider that there is an area of rotation we're also tracking there. For farther to the south, let's check back in on the tornado warning. I see some signs that we have some very strong straight line winds with that. But again, we do have a tornado warning that does continue for here a few more minutes until 1 o'clock. It looks like they are going to go ahead and looks like we're going to continue that tornado warning. So that warning is still in effect right now. And again, what we're seeing is some the possibility of some strong straight line winds is what I'm seeing right here. This was the area that prompted the tornado warning just a little while ago. But as this was crossing over the Ohio River and into Ballard County, we have seen some weakening. We likely do have some very strong straight line winds pushing just south of Barlow right now. That's going to be approaching the Hinkleville area. There's La Center. Again, so folks in Ballard County, we do still have a tornado warning for you guys until 1 p.m. for this storm. We have a lot of lightning with a lot of these storms as well. You can see this. We just turn this on and kind of give you an update and an account on this. Just over the last, I believe, 15 minutes, you're going to be looking at the potential just in this little area here that that is going to be. Yeah, over the last 15 minutes, you've had 442 strikes, just extending from the banner here southward. So through Union and parts of Alexander, Pulaski counties, and now into parts of western Kentucky. You've had 447 strikes and bolts of lightning. That is a tremendous amount of lightning. These storms are extremely loud, and again, they do mean business. They are packing a punch with some very strong straight line winds. Let's go ahead and look back over at the winds. Now, we have two different winds we look at. We look at storm velocity, storm relative velocity for things like this little couplet that produced the tornado warning cell here from Barlow now to La Center. Again, if you live in this area, if you live in Ballard County, you need to be seeking shelter, especially right through the central part of the county. And even farther eastward, folks in Keville and over towards Grahamville, Cerrado, you guys are not in a tornado warning. You are in a severe thunderstorm warning, but you may want to consider that you've got a very strong storm moving your way. We also need to look at the strong straight line winds that are associated with this line of storms, and you see as it's kind of moved, we've gone from here to you start seeing a little bit of these, a few of these kinks now showing up, and we're going to have to keep an eye on those. One of those again just now moving right along the Ohio River and just north of the Ohio River in Pulaski County. That's an area of rotation we'll have to keep an eye on, and then again the area of rotation right here. So we are getting some likely strong straight line winds, at least pushing down to the ground level. We are joined, of course, with Storm Track 3's Katie Melvin. Katie, are you seeing any reports come in with this? Are we getting any? We saw the power outage map coming up. Surely we're starting to get some reports of maybe some trees down.
Yeah, I'm still keeping an eye on things. I don't see any active reports yet, especially from that tornado warning. The only update from the tornado warning was 5 minutes ago, and they canceled it for Alexander and Pulaski County, Illinois, and Mississippi, Missouri, but of course, still active for some of the region. Looks like they're still continuing. Let's see, they have a tornado warning again. So let's pull up that map and take a look to see.
Yeah, I'm zooming in on that right now. That's the cell we were tracking there. That was going to pass just north of Olmsted and just south of New Grand Chain. So we do have a new tornado warning that has just been issued about that one. That's the one we were talking about here. And this is actually an area of rotation that's probably a little more pronounced than the one that prompted the warning a little further southward. So again, there was where we started to track it. It's getting ready to cross the Ohio River shortly. It's probably going to run right along the river. Katie, I'm going to go ahead and ask you if you can kind of get, and well, we'll go ahead and continue to track this. This is right now going to be right along State Highway 37 south of New Grand Chain. Again, very close to the Ohio River. You can go ahead and push me back up here. But Tick Ridge Road, we've got Landing Road, we've got Big Stone Road here. This is going to be Pulaski County, County Road 2, Lee Lane is going to be included in this, and then you're talking about this is the Ohio River, that black line you see on the screen. So area of strong rotation there, possibly could see this storm trying to produce a tornado. Let's go ahead and slide back over and see if we've got any debris signature getting picked up here. At this point, I don't see anything that jumps out to me, but we need to keep an eye, close eye on that. It does look like the path of this storm, and these storms are moving extremely quickly. Go ahead and put this in at about 55 miles per hour. The path of this storm is then going to continue to take this to the east. And that is going to put it into probably the western side of Massac County here in just a few minutes. So, again, couplet that we're tracking is right here. The red and the greens coming together. That green indicates winds that are getting picked up heading towards the radar. And the radar beam is right here. So we're very close to this. This is rotation that's getting detected that's not very high off the ground. But strong winds getting reported here heading towards the radar. And then you've got winds heading away from that. And that's that rotation that we've got right there just north north of the Ohio River. Again, New Grand Chain, this is going to stay just to the south of you. But if you see your community listed, and we're talking about, Mermet Lake, the Mermet area. We're talking about Joppa. We've got New Columbia listed here, and then eventually this is going to likely stay just to the north of Metropolis. And it looks like we do also have another tornado warning that has just been issued a little bit further to the south. So we'll go to that one here in just a second. There's Mermet. If you do any traveling, this is Highway 45 right here. Mermet, the Mermet Lake area. You're going to be very close to where this area of rotation is going to pass. Right now it is right along the Ohio River in the Monkey's Eyebrow area, right there along the Ohio River. But we're talking Joppa to Mermet Lake, and Mermet is where this is going to push through. There's Metropolis. This is probably going to stay north of you, Metropolis, as far as the actual rotation. However, you do have a strong line of storms with some strong winds moving into your location. All right, so again, no reports right now of a tornado on the ground, but we're going to continue to keep an eye on that one. We have another tornado warning that has just been issued a little bit further to the south. And this was the one that has that prompted the warning just a few minutes ago. New tornado warning until 1:15 now does include parts of McCracken County. Again, we are very close to the radar beam here, but we are going to at least see some strong straight line winds in this. But this is going to push very close to Cerrado, Camellia, and then eventually, if it holds together, Lone Oak, you are included in this tornado warning. So you are included in this tornado warning. We'll go ahead and put a 50-mile-per-hour tag on this one and take that out. And to give you an idea of some communities that are going to be in the path of this one. Again, we're talking about McCracken County is going to be in the path of this one. Cerrado is going to be the next town. Camellia, you're there. Future City, and we're talking about Future City. This is, again, not in Alexander County. We're talking about Future City here in McCracken County, Kentucky. The radar site itself is right here, so we are very close to that. And then farther eastward, we're talking Lone Oak. Again, sometimes these are just estimates based on about 50 miles per hour of when this area of rotation will push very close to you. Future City, about 101. Camellia coming in about 103. We're talking about the Kentucky Oaks Mall coming in at about 110. Again, that is going to be right along, say, the Highway 60, or pretty close to Highway 60 there. Does include, again, Lone Oak. Lone Oak, this area of rotation would make its way into your area at about 1:10 p.m. So we'll continue to track that one. Again, 2 different tornado warnings right now on the board. 2 active tornado warnings on the board, and you can kind of pinpoint exactly both of those areas of rotation. One here, right along the Ohio, and then we've got one right back in here that is currently in Ballard County and is going to be crossing into McCracken County very shortly. But elsewhere, we have more severe thunderstorm warnings. Those are going to be the orange blinking boxes. The red blinking boxes are going to be the tornado warnings. Elsewhere, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for much of the region. Again, the main threat today continues to be strong straight-line winds, but here over the last hour or so, we've seen a few couplets or areas of rotation developed, and that has prompted several severe thunderstorm warnings, in addition to several tornado warnings now on the board. Severe thunderstorm watch in the pink color until 4 p.m. Much of the area included in that, except for Jefferson and Hamilton counties, and that is for this line of strong storms making its way eastward and southeastward right now. So we'll continue to check in with some of those. We are again joined with, do we have Emily Pike? Do we still have a shot from her? Last we checked in with her, she was traveling southward on Highway 51. Katie, again, we are also joined in studio with Storm Track 3's Katie Melvin, and keeping an eye on some of these storms as well this afternoon. Katie, are you seeing any more reports come in? What are you seeing as far as the rotation goes on this one?
As far as reports go, I'm still not seeing anything come out of this. Of course, we do have 3 different active warnings, so I want to take the time kind of go through some of these counties. I don't think we've kind of gone through that quite yet. So we do have the first tornado warning. That's for Johnson, Massac, Pope, and Pulaski County. That is in southern Illinois. It also includes Ballard and McCracken in Kentucky. So that one goes until about 1:15. So continuing to keep an eye on that one, of course. We've got another one for Ballard and McCracken as well. So we've got that smaller one. And then also another one for Johnson, Massac, Pope, Pulaski, Ballard, and McCracken. So still tracking all of these tornado warnings right now. And, of course, hail could also be associated with these. Still not seeing any active reports on the board, but we do have that live look over Metropolis. So still kind of keeping an eye on things as far as that goes. It still looks like just a lot of those heavy cloud cover not seeing the rain reach the area quite yet, but other areas still dealing with some of that heavier rain. This is a look across a couple of different areas right now. So Poplar Bluff is seeing some of that heavy rain come through. Perryville, you can see the clouds really begin to settle in and move through. Carbondale visibility was just almost minimal, but these storms are just moving very quickly, about 50 miles per hour straight to the east. So they're coming quickly, and it did drop a lot of rain. Of course, keeping an eye on power outages as well across the region. I haven't seen any recent reports of trees down or anything like that, but it wouldn't surprise me with some of these winds as they're moving through. And of course, we've had a lot of rain in a pretty short amount of time as well. But going back right now, though, for radar, or let's see, we have power outages up right now. So still tracking that across the region. If we could get it back, though, to radar, that would be wonderful. We're still tracking, of course, not only just these tornado warnings, but a very large severe thunderstorm warning. So that extends pretty much from Goreville down towards the south, just north of East Prairie. But even if you're not in these warnings, it doesn't mean you're not seeing that active weather. If we cut lightning on, there's definitely a lot of energy with this. If you're in East Prairie, even if you're in Jackson County and Carbondale, even up to West Frankfort, you're seeing some of that rain. You're hearing the thunder. I can hear that outside of our own studio here in Carterville and Williamson County. But of course, most of the activity settling off to the south. So the far southern tip of southern Illinois, and then parts of western Kentucky as well. And then even a small portion there of Missouri as far as the severe thunderstorm warning goes. So we still have that severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 1:45 for at least the eastern side of things. And we're still tracking those 3 active tornado warnings. So I'll go ahead and take off lightning. We can see some of these cities a bit better. So there's still a lot in place here. So that includes, for at least this far northern one, we have Bell Cap, we have New Grand Chain, we have Joppa, Midway, Big Bay. And that goes until 1:15. So there's still a lot of time on this as this continues to push through. As far as rotation goes, still kind of keeping an eye where you see these brighter colors and a bit of a kink there in the line. That's pretty much indicating where the rotation's happening. So continuing to watch that. Still looks like we're still continuing these tornado warnings as well. Switching it right back over to radar. So of course, as I was saying, if you aren't in any of these warnings, it doesn't mean you're still not having some pretty active weather move through. It's just not hitting those severe parameters. So again, here at the station, I'm hearing the rain fall down very hard. So if you don't have to be out right now, of course, you don't want to be caught in this rain. These storms, again, are moving through very quickly. We're still tracking that severe thunderstorm watch for almost everyone. We have the exception of Jefferson and Hamilton County there in southern Illinois. That goes until 4 o'clock this evening. So a bit similar to yesterday, we're just seeing a very large watch in place as far as storm reports go. Still haven't seen a ton. We have those reports still out of, it looks like Cape Girardeau to Scott County. They had some wind reports earlier today. So again, no surprise with how quickly these storms are moving through. We'll take another look quickly at radar. Looking and seeing if we have any reports. I'm still not seeing any reports. So this tornado warning is still radar indicated. Looks like they went ahead and dropped one of these warnings. So now we have 2 tornado warnings in place right now. The first one, of course, over Karnak to Metropolis to Big Bay. That includes Pope County, Massac, Johnson, along with Pulaski County, Ballard County, and McCracken. And it's really that northern part of McCracken and Ballard County. The other warning, tornado warning specifically, is for a bit further south into McCracken, so over Lone Oak, and then also, again, just south of La Center, so that's in Ballard County as well, both going until 1:15. That severe thunderstorm warning, though, that's also in place, a bit overlapping. That's until 1:45, so a lot of time still on this. Looks like they are continuing that severe thunderstorm warning until 1:30. So continuing to track this, keep an eye on things, of course, as these continue to move through. It looks like they're still moving through pretty quickly. They're also continuing this tornado warning for Massac, Pope, Ballard, and McCracken. And still radar indicated. Still not seeing any reports of a funnel on the ground. No one has seen it quite yet, but it's still pretty much radar indicated. So we'll take a bit of a wider look here. It's a very large system that's moving through. So some of us in parts of the Boot Hill, even into western Tennessee, even areas in Kentucky like Murray or close to the northern part of southern Illinois, not even seeing any rain right now. So a lot of this activity really moving through the heart of our region, and it's moving through very quickly, about 50 miles per hour as it does go through. So We can toss a storm track on this very quickly, at least for this top tornado warning that they're continuing. That's moving through Joppa and Midway. So it's moving pretty much east right now as this moves through. So let's just draw the line moving off to the east about 50 miles per hour. So it is very quickly as it's moving. So drawing this out, so we're seeing Joppa, Salem, and Marion, Kentucky at 145 and 158. So of course, still continuing to track this. We're still seeing 2 tornado warnings and then 1 very large severe thunderstorm warning, pretty much setting up where we're seeing this bow echo on radar, which usually also means some pretty strong straight line winds. So even if you're not in that tornado warning, you're probably still getting some very windy conditions as it moves through, a bit similar to what we saw yesterday as far as velocity goes. So velocity is a great tool, of course, not only for rotation. That lets you know when we're seeing winds moving towards and away, and when they're in that close, tight knit there, it kind of means rotation, but this also shows those straight line winds really well. So when you're seeing a lot of these brighter greens, of course, we are right near radar there, but it means that they're very fast winds as they move through. So power outages, of course, going to be a concern into this evening, or at least possibly could be a concern into this evening. So continuing to track all of this right now, and we do have a watch in place for almost everyone, and that goes until 4 o'clock this evening. So still a bit of time on that. We have the exception of a couple of our counties here, like Jefferson, Hamilton, and I believe Madison there with Fredericktown. But everyone else seeing a severe thunderstorm watch in place until 4 o'clock. But taking a quick glance across the region, kind of what we're seeing right now, it was just pouring in Carbondale, but now it's beginning to clear up a bit. Poplar Bluff seeing some of that rainfall. Perryville, Sparta with the very dark clouds on the horizon. So still watching these storms as they kind of move through. As far as power outages go, it's pretty similar to what we've been seeing, except it now looks like Jackson County has some power outages. So we'll look into that and see how many they're actually seeing right now. But again, these are storms that are moving through very quickly. We haven't had a lot of rain lately, so the rain that is falling, making the ground a bit softer and things can just fall a bit easier. But Jackson County right now having 107 out of power right now. So seeing about 100 people without power in parts of Jackson County. So they weren't even seeing a tornado warning. They were in a severe thunderstorm warning very briefly. So it just goes to show you, and if you're out of a warning box, it can still be a very serious situation. A lot of lightning still associated with this. Of course, lightning can be a danger within itself. So Sykes and East Prairie, you're seeing a lot of lightning. We had reports of one of these last storms that kind of moved through, not today, but of a barn fire. So, of course, lightning is a threat within itself. We're continuing to keep an eye on that. As far as hail goes, we still are seeing some hail, especially within these warning boxes, and then just off to the west. So hail a possibility as well. Not seeing any storm reports of that quite yet. Still just tracking. We have 2 tornado warnings in place. That's exactly why we're breaking in right now. This first one, the further north one, that's for Pope County, Massac County, and McCracken County. And McCracken is Kentucky, of course, along with Ballard. Massac and Pope are both southern Illinois. So that includes Midway, Round Knob, Mermet, Hillerman, Joppa, and even Metropolis there. So getting pretty close to the river. We've got our one off to the south there, over just south of Future City. We have Lovelaceville, Fremont, Krebs, Lone Oak, Forest Hill. We have another tornado warning, so that's for a different portion of McCracken County. Did include Ballard. I think now it is just McCracken County, and that still goes until 1:15. So they're still just continuing, both of them, tracking some of the rotation as well. So we'll switch this back over, see if we can see some of the rotation here.
Yeah, and a lot of kinks in this line that we're continuing to watch develop here. You know, you're going through some of these tornado warnings. I was trying to adjust the camera so that we kind of get a better view of some of this storm that's moving through the Joppa area. There's the possibility we did have a brief touchdown into Joppa and kind of when this storm was moving through there. But right now, no confirmation of that. It would have been very close to that, but it would have been very close to that. So there's the one area of rotation right here now, just to the east of Joppa, that's crossing over Highway 45. That's what you see here. Again, very close to Mermet. We'll have to keep an eye on. There's actually another one trying to develop just on the south side of Metropolis, just south of Metropolis. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to our camera there. We should get a pretty good view of that looking back towards the south. Now, this is a live view from out of our Metropolis camera. I'm going to swing this back to the south. This is actually looking more towards the south and east here. Let's go ahead and swing this back over here if we can, and get a better view of this. Again, very strong storm, though, moving through. Looks like we're not getting that to update. I'm wondering if we didn't lose our camera here in Metropolis. So again, very strong storm. Just kind of gives you an idea of what we're dealing with sometimes these storms as they make their way through. All right, let's go back over and let's check in right now again on those 2 tornado-warned storms. We've got one now still from Massac County. That is for this little couplet right here. And I know it doesn't look that impressive, but a couple radar scans ago, there was the possibility that we did have a brief spin-up tornado as this was moving through right along the Ohio River. There it would have been about right there. That would have been probably the best chance that we had of seeing a tornado right in through there. So that would have actually been on the Kentucky side. And then as this was pushing eastward, and there's Joppa, and then going east towards between Round Knob and Metropolis is where this is going to pass. There is another one that is developing we'll have to keep an eye on a little bit further to the south. You can kind of see it right there. It's actually passing right now just to the south of Metropolis. So that's actually going to be this little couplet right here. And looks like that is going to continue eastward as well. Again, no warning on that one. This warning is just to the south of Metropolis. And we do also still have the tornado warning a little further south as well. That is going to be for parts of McCracken County. So this is, again, south of Paducah. But we can see as this storm, I'm going to switch back over here to base velocity and see if we can't get a better view of it. As this storm was moving through, we did lose a little bit of it. We're right next to the radar. There's still some rotation very close to the Camellia area right here. That is going to continue eastward. So folks in Forest Hill and Lone Oak, this storm is heading your way. Again, maybe not quite as strong as what we were seeing just a few minutes ago, but we'll get a better idea after it passes. Again, the radar site itself is right here, so we're not getting a great reading right next to that radar site. But as it gets a little further away, we should get a better reading, Lone Oak to Forest Hill. Again, this is in McCracken County, runs until 1:15. We do have a tornado warning for there. Let's go back to the north. Still keeping an eye on some of these storms here as they make their way into Massac County. Area of rotation as this is going to pass over Old Joppa Road and the Choate area right along Highway 45. Again, Mount Mission Road. And the latest update here, it actually brings it a little farther east of Highway 45. So this is north of Metropolis. North side of Metropolis is right here. We're talking about more like Old Marion Road, North Avenue, Upper Salem Road. And then this is going to be I-24. That's that orange line you see there cutting through your screen. And that's going to be I-24. So area of rotation is right back in here, just crossed over U.S. Highway 45. North of Metropolis. There's Airport Road as well over there. And again, if you guys live in this area, Snyder Road, Havercamp Road, and then Holter Camp Road as well towards the Midway area. And then I would say right along I-24. If you guys have friends there, family there, that's going to be close to the Shawnee campus here on the north side. There is an area of rotation approaching you. No right now confirmed tornado with this one. It's not quite as impressive as what it was just a few minutes ago, but still enough so that the National Weather Service felt that they should issue a tornado warning on that. So continuing to keep an eye on that one. Our exclusive product here, we call it the shear tracker. One of the things that we're taught to look for with this product is that little S-curve. And there it is. That little S-curve indicates that we still have some rotation getting picked up on this storm. So, again, this is north of Metropolis, but the northern part of Massac County, crossing over I-24 right now, is going to be in the path of this. If this holds together or re-strengthens as it moves eastward, this would also push into the southern part of Pope County. Bay City's right here, Midway here. So again, this is north of Metropolis, and you're talking about more in the way of, say, the Big Bay area, possibly just actually to the south of that. So if you're familiar with this area, you know where the exits are. The Big Bay exit's about right here. The Metropolis exit's about right here on I-24. We're talking about an area in between that right now, heading over towards the Midway area. I believe we do have a picture right now we're going to go ahead and put up. This is I-24. I believe this is out of Paducah, correct. This is going to be in the Paducah area as right now as these storms are moving through. So that's going to be just south of Paducah, I believe south side of Paducah on I-24. And that line of storms there, again, producing some very strong straight line winds. You can see the heavy rain, and we're really talking about some blinding rain with some of these storms. I'm going to try to get back up our Metropolis camera, too. We had a great view there just a few seconds ago. But we're going to try to zoom back in there. This was the last update we had from our Metropolis camera here. And again, we had some extremely heavy rain coming down. We were trying to get a good view of as this storm was making its way into the metropolis area, and especially on that couplet that was developing to the south. We do continue to still have a tornado or a severe thunderstorm watch in effect right now. Pretty much all the pink areas you see on the map. Again, it does include much of our region. Runs until 4 p.m. this afternoon. Mount Vernon, McLeansboro, you guys are not seeing much activity. In fact, just looking at a camera right over here out of Mount Vernon, and there's no rain even falling there. So again, all of this right now is focused to the south of you, and I'm going to zoom out and just kind of run through everything that we're tracking because I know we've got folks joining us from all over the region. So let's start right now across parts of southern Illinois. Again, areas along Route 13. You guys are seeing some rain, but this is going to be mainly south of Route 13 as far as the severe weather threat. Harrisburg, you've got some rain getting ready to move in. Galatia, you've got some heavy rain moving in from the west, but this is not severe, so nothing to be concerned about at this point with these storms. We are most concerned right now basically from about Vienna. So think about 146 southward, southern half of Johnson County, Massac County, and then eventually into Pope County, and I would even include Hardin County in that. Roseclair to Elizabethtown, you guys have got a pretty good storm here, probably still about a half an hour away, but you've got a really good storm that's going to bring some heavy rain, possibly a lot of lightning, and some strong straight-line winds with it. This area right through here in western Kentucky has been the main focus for the strongest storms here most recently. Again, that has prompted 2 different tornado warnings that we still have on the board, and then southward into Kentucky. So basically from about what we're thinking, the northern part of Massac County, southward, Metropolis included in that right now. Brookport, you guys are under a tornado warning, but it looks like right now the area of rotation we were tracking was just to the north of you. But we are likely going to see some new severe thunderstorm warnings eventually issued. That's going to include the rest of Livingston and Hardin counties, I imagine, are going to eventually be included in this. But it does look like we still have these 2 tornado warnings on the board. One for Massac County here does include a very small part of Pope County. And then the one through the southern part of McCracken County. And it looks like, again, generally the south side of Paducah is what we're thinking for that tornado warning. It looks like the city of Paducah, much of the city of Paducah is actually not in that warning. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning as well, a little farther southward through western Kentucky. This is Graves County here. We've got Hickman and we've got Fulton counties. We've also got the southern part of Carlisle County that's now included in that. That runs until 1:45. As this line of storms continues to track east and southeast, we are going to continue to likely see the threat for strong straight line winds, and there is still the possibility that we could have a brief spin-up tornado. All right. We do have some power outages that are being reported across the area. I'm not seeing at this point still too many reports come in. But again, the possibility is there that we still could have a brief spin-up tornado with a couple of these storms as they make their way eastward. So we still do have, I believe, 2 tornado warnings that are still in effect right now. I'm looking to see if they went ahead and carved the one for, looks like maybe we got rid of the Massac County here's a tornado warning here just a couple of minutes ago. That one was running until 1:15. We'll find out here in just a few seconds as if it's dropped off the board. I believe that warning has been allowed to expire. The one to the south looks like maybe it has weakened as well. So hopefully some good news here. And we just had a brief couple of little spin up that maybe didn't even produce a tornado. That's going to be our best hope there. And really, we're going to continue to, of course, track this line as it moves eastward. But there you go. Both tornado warnings just cleared off the board. So we'll continue to track this line of storms as it moves eastward. Again, I want to break down everything that we're keeping an eye on as we speak before we send you back to regular programming. But we want you to be up to date with everything as we continue to see the possibility here of some strong straight line winds. And that's actually just now really starting to move into the Metropolis area. So let's go back over to that camera and see if we can get back another shot out of the Metropolis camera. All right, so there it is, finally updating here. We have some extremely heavy rainfall coming down. Gosh, look how heavy that rain is. That's going to be another problem here later on tonight as we see more storms likely develop after midnight tonight. We're going to turn our attention to a flash flooding threat. But right now, I'm going to switch back over to radar. There's the severe thunderstorm warnings for folks in Pope County. You guys have a strong storm heading your way, basically from the Dixon Springs area. Eddyville is probably going to stay, the strongest part's probably going to stay south of you. active here in Eddyville, but the Big Bay area, right here, and along the Ohio River, and then southward, this is just now moving into Paducah. So very strong line of storms, possibly producing some strong straight line winds into the eastern parts, we'll say Massac County, and then back into McCracken County and southward into Ballard County. Line of strong storms will continue to push its way eastward, heading towards land between the lakes. And then get ready, Hardin County. It's probably still, again, Rosiclare, Elizabethtown, and maybe 20, 25 minutes away. But line of storms with some very heavy rain and some gusty winds heading your way. Right now, since we don't have any tornado warnings on the board, we're going to send it back to regular programming. And if we have any more tornado warnings, we'll, of course, break in immediately. And we'll continue to track this line and keep you up to date here through the rest of this afternoon with some of these storms as they make their way through the area.